All right. Good morning, Facebook family. Good morning from wherever you are watching us in the world. Welcome to Office of the Citizen. My name is Regina Askia Williams, and I am, as usual, very happy to have you with us. Today is going to be a bumper package, God willing, because after all the practicing, all the, test runs to make sure that we don't have technical difficulties, I still don't have my guests in the studio. I see somebody here, though. I think I have Ata Ikiddeh, and I'm waiting for Dr. Katch. Dr. Katch, this is a direct message to you. We just finished the test run and it worked, so there is no excuse. Please click on your guest link and join me in the studio. Today, I'm going to have Ata Ikiddeh, and I will also have Dr. Katch Ononuju, okay? And we'll be discussing about the problems on ground in Nigeria and proffering solutions on how we could sort these problems out. Ata, I just tried to put you on screen and you disappeared on me, okay? So please click your guest link and come back in the studio. Dr. Katch, it is good to have you with me.
Thank you very much.
There's no way you're going to escape me. I will continue to hunt you until I get you. Welcome to the Office of the Citizen. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right. I'm glad you are here. So I also have Ata Ikiddeh. Ata Ikiddeh, welcome to the Office of the Citizen. I don't know why I have Dr. Amici here. Ata, welcome to the Office of the Citizen. Please say hello to our audience. All right, I'm not sure what's going on with him. Okay, so Dr. Katch, it's good to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and then we'll cut to chase, okay?
Thank you. I am a Nigerian politician and a public intellectual. I am very, very happy to be alive today. I'm grateful that despite the challenges of the COVID-19, that we are still standing here to give testimony that it wasn't as virulent in our climate as it was in other places. Yet, I would urge everybody to keep social distancing, wash your hands, and be very, very careful. If you can, stay at home. I am right now at home, and the same I urge everyone else to do. So I am also a businessman, but I try to stay focused in regards to my country because it is right now at a crossroad. It is at a place where it's never been to before. And we are helping to steer the country to a much better place. We need to be the society that is inclusive of the aspirations of all, the multiracial, multi-religious society like Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Dr. Katch. Ata Ikiddeh, welcome to the studio. Can you introduce yourself to our audience?
So in other words,
Oh, can you hear me? Go ahead, sir. Hello. I think we're having connectivity issues. Can you hear me? Dr. Katch? All right, so I'll be trying to get you back. I'll probably send you another link, but if you can, please go ahead. Okay, so we'll be trying to get guests back into the studio, and I don't know why I keep losing them as soon as I try to bring them on screen. Now, let me give you a rundown on what we're going to be talking about. Let me give everybody a rundown on what we're going to be talking about. And I am not up for pleasantries and beating around the bush. We are just going to cut to chase, okay? All right, so today we're going to talk about why the PDP is calling for President Buhari to resign. Why is that happening? Has the nation lost confidence in the presidency? What is going on there? Why is the PDP making this request? Why is the PDP making this request? Ata Ikiddeh is big on patriotism. I want you to tell us what it means to be a patriotic Nigerian, and is Nigeria offering its citizens enough reasons to be patriotic to it? What is the meaning of patriotism? Does that even, or should that even be applied to Nigeria? The next question I will ask, Atakide, welcome to the studio. Do you want to introduce yourself to our guests? It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Regina. Very honored to be here. My name is Ata Ikiddeh. I'm a lawyer, human rights activist, member of Amnesty International, and a patriot of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Great, great. It's good to have you in the studio. And
Thank you.
while we wait for Dr. Katch, I was trying to give a rundown of what our discussion today is going to be on. We talked about the PDP asking the president to resign. We talked about patriotism and if that should even be applied to Nigeria. We talked about, I want us to discuss the function or the requirement of the service chiefs when it comes to providing security to life and property in Nigeria. Have they failed in their mission? And if they have failed, what do you suggest should happen? And we want you to describe to us what patriotism means. We want to talk about the China loans. Why are we still borrowing from, nations outside? Why are we still borrowing? We did a lot of loot recovery. Why can't we work with what we have? What are the terms of the loans that China has given to us? Are we going to end up like the countries in East Africa? In terms of, if we default on that loan. Now, there was an ongoing NDDC probe. We found out that a lot of money was wasted. Nobody could account for it. Now there is the NNPC probe, and we find out people just wake up one morning, decide that they need this amount of money for a project, go in and get the money from the Senate, and they approve it, and then we don't hear anything about. Nobody gives accountability of what that money was used for. But then the whole nation has been mortgaged to stand behind a loan that we were not even, consulted with before it was effected. Okay, so we'll talk about the terms of the Chinese loan and where this might put us if we are not careful. All right. So security is another thing. Everybody likes to talk about the Fulani agenda, but we have so far seen that Northerners and Southerners are equal partakers in this feast of corruption. If we do not stem corruption in Nigeria, we are in trouble. The nation is in a free fall. Where do we go from here? All right. While I try to get Dr. Katch, can you go ahead and talk to me about patriotism and why Nigeria is deserving of any type of patriotism? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Regina Askia. Williams, this is I wish that we had 200 million Nigerians on this program, because I think this is a message that Nigerians need to hear. This is something that Nigerians need to come together and basically listen and come up with a vision for the nation. Now, first of all, Regina, let me say something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We need to decide as a people who we are. As Nigerians, we have not yet discovered, we have not asked ourselves the essential and critical question about who we are. What are we? Now, that might sound like that might sound very simplistic, but let me say this, Regina. Do you know that 99.9% of us don't even know the meaning of the name Nigeria?
Niger area. Is it not like Niger area?
Right. Okay. But do you know the meaning of Niger?
Tell us. Tell
Good.
us. Mm-hmm.
Good. Because for a country to identify itself, for a country to have a philosophy, for a country to come together and say, we have a dream, for a country to say this is the direction that we are taking in the Committee of Nations, the country, the nation must understand its name. It must know its name. Now, we are Africans, Regina, and
Yes.
we know how important names are. We know how our parents spent hours, days sitting down as we're about to be born and thinking and coming up with a name. And how come that in a nation of 200 million people, we still don't know what our name is? And our
Atta,
name does not have a meaning.
Atta,
Now,
this name has served us since 1960, since we became
hold on.
a nation.
Okay.
Nigeria as a nation, is it working or is it not working?
Now,
People have lived in this nation and this nation has enjoyed great successes. Why is it now that we have to start thinking of a name? They say,
because
yes, yes.
Regina, that is part of the foundational. Our foundation as a nation is faulty. Do you know what Niger means? Niger means black. The root word of Niger, or some might call it a different Niger, but I don't want to say it here so I don't sound offensive. But the root word of Niger is from Latin, and it means black.
We're
Now
black
that word,
people. Yes.
it means black, okay?
Yeah.
Niger is the word Negro also comes from the word Niger. The
Mhm.
offensive word nigger also comes from the word Niger. Now listen, the river Niger that crosses from the foot of Jalon Hills into Nigeria was called the Black River. River Niger, the root word and meaning is the Black River.
Mhm.
Now, a woman called Flora Shaw, thought it would be a good idea to call this people that were going to come together from the northern protectorate of Nigeria and the south together. She thought it would be a good idea to call it Nigeria, the black area. The black
Okay.
area.
Okay.
That is the meaning of your country,
The
the
black
black area.
area.
Now,
Okay.
okay. Now, Regina, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that name, okay?
Yes.
But I'm saying, have we come together as a people to agree that Nigeria, the black area, defines us as a people? The black area is the spirit
It's a
of,
spirit.
yes, is the spirit of our people. Have
Okay.
we ever come together as a people? You see, let me tell you something. Ghana was once called the Gold Coast.
Okay.
That was the name the Portuguese actually gave Ghana, the Gold Coast, in the 15th century. And the British continued that name, the Gold Coast. Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah, and his people came together and said, this name does not define us. This name is an insult. This name is exploitative. This name, every time we call ourselves the Gold Coast, it reminds us of how we've been raped by the Europeans. We need a name that defines us, a
Okay.
name that tells us who we are, a
Okay.
name that directs us and shows us our destiny and where we're going.
Okay.
And so they researched.
Yeah.
And they had empires. There was a Songhai, they had the Mali Empire, the Ghana Empire, there was a Fulani Empire. They came up with different names and they arrived at the Ghana Empire.
Okay.
And that is why, Regina, you can see that Ghana, even till today, Ghana is so different from Nigeria.
Okay.
Ghana has had leaders like Rawlings, Nkrumah, men that were able to fashion out a vision for their people.
Okay.
But Nigerians, now listen, the black area has never, The black area has never been able, we have never come together and asked ourselves and agreed and said, this name the black area. Because listen, black is also Sudan in Arab. Sudan means black in Arabic. We haven't come together. So,
Okay. Ata,
so,
let me ask.
so,
Yeah.
so, Regina, the
Yes.
first thing we have to do as a people is we need to define our name.
Okay, great. Thank you for that submission, Ata. But defining a name, defining who we are, and correcting things that have not been working so far for the nation, would you agree that that should start with the redefinition of the Nigerian Constitution? It used to work in 1960s, it's not working. They changed it in 1999, it's not working anymore. Should we start by having some kind of restructuring based that starts with a review of the present constitution, and in that come to an agreement on what it takes to be a Nigerian and what it takes to define us as a people? Come to an agreement. But I want Dr. Katch to say something to that effect. Dr. Katch, please. The mic is yours right now.
Thank you. Well, Nigeria was a business venture by the Royal Niger Company, who was £1,000 by the British Crown, so that they could abandon their trading activities. And for that period, when those 360 people were now to change from the trading mandate to a colonial mandate, and they just disparate people. Don't forget, we were colonized twice by the Fulani who came from Yemen. They colonized the Hausas, and then the British defeated and killed Sultan Atahiru in Gombe. But because there were very few people working at the Royal Niger Company, you remember also in India they had the East India Company, and in Hong Kong they had Jardine Matheson, which were principal dealers in the opium business. So in our own, we are not yet a nation. What we have is a conglomeration of different ethnic nations, all of them today seeking Nigeria on their own terms. Our singular biggest problem is that at independence, the British left, the Fulani did not leave. So today, we are now a democracy, and democracy is a numbers-based business. Because the Fulani don't have numbers, they suddenly do not want the democracy to move on. So they're doing everything possible to undermine and delegitimize our country and also delegitimize our democracy. Why do I say this? If you see today, the Hausas today still do not have freedom. Hausa land is the largest concentration of people who are really badly treated than anywhere else on earth. No Hausa man is emir anywhere in Hausa land. So even though the British left, the family remained to colonize the Hausa. So we have this problem, and now that we become a democracy, the Fulani fearing that they don't have numbers to maintain their lifestyle of entitlement all across the north, are now using violence to legitimize our country. You can see the killings going on right now, the ethnic cleansings in Kaduna State. It is as a consequence of looking for land. So they want to cleanse off indigenous people from the aboriginal land so they can seize the land to resettle refugees from Mali. Now, this is that problem. And we don't seem to actually be united. But I'm happy that Buhari's incompetence in managing our diversity and the foolishness of his policies. You've seen him now employing nepotism as policy. And that nepotism, all it does is it excludes large sections of society and only allows the chosen Fulani to gain access to certain privileges that the rest of us Nigerians are not allowed to. And I kept telling people they cannot win. Why? They don't have the numbers to do what they want. Look at the Yorubas who are with them in what I call a constructive engagement. The Yorubas have today formed their Amotekun. Amotekun is a a security vigilante to gather intelligence about the Fulani's intentions to seize our ungoverned places, mostly our bushes. Nigeria is not yet a nation, but we need to come together. The reasons why I'm happy about Buhari's incompetence is because historically humanity only learns through experience. And now that those who thought Buhari was an honest man have now seen that Buhari now runs the most corrupt government in Nigeria's history. They have now woken up. And that's why you're seeing people all over the place resorting to do it yourself security wise. And I know we're not going to go anywhere like that. Buhari, quote me, is complicit, treasonably complicit in the current killings in Kaduna State.
Really?
Buhari, and just hear me now, because why he has kept the service chiefs is because they agreed to stay hands from dealing with those who kill Nigerians. So how can you allow a policy where Malians will come in with guns, pretending to be herdsmen, and then harassing and raping our mothers in the countryside, and you don't allow the police to actually prosecute these people? This is the reason for prosecution, because why? From the top, they are instructed to stay hands.
Okay.
So I believe we are right now at a junction where, due to our learning through experience, which we have now seen, we may be able to come together. If the East can come together with the West, which is the Yoruba-dominated Southwest, you will see the Middle Belt and the other minorities follow suit. This is what we must do.
Okay.
Lying.
Yeah. Let me let Ata counter that. Ata, you seem to have friends in high places. Do you have any information that will counter what the doctor has just said? He said that there's complicity with the service chiefs who have agreed to stay hands in prosecuting those people who got the bandits who go around murdering and raping women and children in the countryside. Please talk to us about that, Ata.
It is the reason why Buhari is still maintaining them in power. Okay. Because they have agreed to stay hands.
Okay.
And then that's why they are still being kept there. Okay. They seem to, because remember last year when I went on television to tell Nigerians that the Rugat game has nothing to do with agriculture. It is simply a demography alteration scheme for him to grab land to be able to resettle refugees from Central African Republic and from Mali.
Okay.
There are no Nigerians
from
their villages and be taken to bushes in hostile communities.
Sir. Let us talk. One second.
And that's what we're studying an international narrative to tell the Nigerian story.
All right.
Just why?
Doctor.
It's very complicit in this game.
Okay.
Nigerians refuse to give them land.
Okay, Doctor.
Refuse to give them land. And what did you do? He now allows the Mieti Allah to now invite. God, listen to me.
Yes.
The Fulani are the only ones in Nigeria who constantly invite foreign mercenaries to come into Nigeria and wreak.
Okay, thank you.
No,
I don't want us to miss the truth you're telling. So let us listen to Ata and then come back and listen to you, so we're not talking over each other. Ata, please go ahead and say something so that the doctor can come back.
Right.
Yes.
Let me just say I appreciate my brother, Dr. Katch. We go a long way, and I'm sure after this program, I'm sure he'll tell you how far we go. Dr. Katch has been a friend of mine for over 20 or 30 years. We've known ourselves right from when we were kids in school. But let me just say this, Regina.
Yes.
What Dr. Katch is talking about, are the symptoms wrong with Nigeria. These are the sores and the ulcers. These are the septic wounds of Nigeria. But it is not the disease.
What is the disease? Yes.
It is not the disease. The same thing I say about corruption. Corruption is a symptom. It is not a disease. Now, some of you know that few weeks ago, I was in hospital and I had surgery. And you, Regina, you were one of the nurses that counseled me on what was wrong with me. I was having headaches. I was weak. I was disoriented. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know there was a tumor inside me. I was having symptoms. And this is the problem. This is the challenge with Nigeria. Everything we are seeing are symptoms. And if you don't deal with the tumor, my sister, Nigeria is not going to go ahead. I remember one day I went to hospital, Regina. I saw a man with a an ulcerated foot. I mean, the smell was incredible. And I asked the doctor, I said, why have you guys not done anything about this man's foot? The doctor said, believe me, if I tell you what's wrong with this man, you'll be shocked. He said, it's not the sore. It's not the septicemia you see. It's not the ulcer. The man is diabetic. He said, the moment we can deal with his diabetes, the sore and the ulcer will stop. He said, even if you cut this man's leg, the ulcer will come up in another part of his body.
So what is the tumor of Nigeria?
The tumor of Nigeria is what I've been saying. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. We don't even know what our name means. We need to come together, Regina, as a people. We have never come together. And this thing started with the people we call our so-called founding fathers. Nigeria has never had founding fathers. We had regional leaders. We've never had fathers who sat down and asked the question, what are we? We have never come together as a people. We're always talking about things like corruption, resource control, herdsmen crisis, but have we come together
How
and
do
asked
we come
ourselves?
together? How do we come together?
Now,
In the
this is
face
it.
of all that is happening, how do we come together? Dr.
Good.
Katch suggests that the East and West should come together and state their case. What do you say? How do we come together to have a consensus, to know who we agree on, who we are, and how to move forward? How do we come together?
Now, listen. We first of all have to recognize there's a problem.
Okay.
There are people listening to me now who say, what's this man talking about? What's he saying? But that is the issue. Many Nigerians don't recognize that we don't. Now, listen. In July 1776, there's a declaration of independence by the Americans. And this was what was drafted by the founding fathers. Now, listen.
Yeah.
Just listen. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights.
Yes.
That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Exactly.
That is the American dream.
Yes. Which is becoming a nightmare for some people. But go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
That is the dream, the vision, and the spirit of America.
Yes.
That is what defines America. Nigeria has never, in fact, you know what, Regina? Before this program, I went to the Nigerian Constitution. And this was what I found.
Yes.
Now listen. The preamble of the Nigerian Constitution starts by saying this. We, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live in unity and harmony as one indivisible, insoluble sovereign state under God, dedicated to the promotion of inter-African solidarity, world peace, international cooperation and understanding, and to provide for a constitution for the purpose of promoting the good governance and welfare of all persons in our country on the principles of freedom, equality, and justice, and for the purpose of consolidating the unity of our people, do hereby enact to ourselves the following constitution. Now, listen, this is the closest thing to the Nigerian dream. But do you know what I discovered, Regina?
Yes.
Unity was number one.
Okay.
And unity appeared again in this preamble twice.
Okay.
We have always, just like Kachi has been talking, we are, I don't know, we are, do I use the word paranoid over this thing called unity? Unity, federal character, unity in diversity. For goodness sake, how can you keep talking about unity when you don't even know who you are?
All right, Ata. Thank you for that submission. But then again, I have not been able to arrive at an answer listening to that on how we can come together. How do we
That's
come
what I'm
together?
saying, Regina.
Now, people are in the villages butchering women and children. People are feeling left out of the national progression in terms of hiring, in terms of appointment to certain positions of power. This is a country of 200 million people. Why are the people at the helms of affairs coming from only one side of the nation? This is unfair. The Igbos feel excluded from the mainstream of what is happening in Nigeria. The people from the South feel that their land has been raped and bastardized, the oil being taken, nothing has been given to develop them. You know, people feel left out. How do we start to reach across partisan lines, reach across whatever is holding us back to rise up as brothers? I'm waiting.
We have to be patriots. We have to be patriots. We have to love this country.
Okay,
listen. We have to be patriots, and this is what patriotism is all about.
I cannot be your friend if every time I reach out to shake your hand, you stab me. I cannot be your friend if every time I'm looking for a job, I can't find because my name is not from a certain demographic.
But
I cannot be your friend.
Do you love Nigeria?
I do love Nigeria, and I want Nigeria.
No.
I do love Nigeria, and I want my space. I want to claim my space in Nigeria.
Regina.
I am a citizen of the country, and I want my rights to be honored.
Regina, I can tell you right now,
yes,
there are three people here. There's an Igbo Arochukwu man there.
Yes.
Kachi. There's an Anang woman here, and there's an Ibibio man speaking right now.
Yes.
And I can tell you something. At this moment, we identify ourselves more to our tribes where we come from, our regions, than Nigeria. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right.
And until we are patriots, until we love this country, and for us to love, understand, embrace, and have allegiance to this country, we must come together. We must define ourselves. We must know who we are. We must agree on our name. We must know what we are in the Committee of Nations. We have not done that as a nation.
I agree.
60 years on, Nigeria still does not know who and what she is.
I agree. Thank you so much, Ata. I agree. Dr. Kachi, you have been listening to that trend of conversation. What do you have to contribute to that trend of conversation? Ata says we don't know ourselves. He says that we are not agreeing. If we love Nigeria enough, we would agree to embrace each other as brothers, and invest in our country. What do you say to that line of thought? And to be able to do that, we have to be patriots. What do you say to that?
But let me just help. Because I saw Labaran Mohammed wrote about he didn't agree with me on what I said. When last year I warned about the crisis in Katsina, in Zamfara, and in Sokoto, is a saying. It is the Fulani bandits. The same Fulani bandits you see in Katsina, Zamfara, and Sokoto are the same ones you see now also in Kaduna. And the reason, that's why the house has now formed what is called Yansakai. The house has formed Yansakai. I went myself to Ansadawu. I went to Maru. I went to Anka. I went to Ngobe. I ended up in Kankara, seeing these things live with my own eyes. And I met the governor, and the governor told me, look, the governor in Zamfara, he said, Kachi, the people I'm forced to negotiate with
are from Mali. What this and why do the army stand aside? Why this killing so cold? Why do the army stand aside? This is what we're saying. Nigerians love themselves. The only group in Nigeria who are not happy about what Nigeria has become as a democracy are those who have a mindset of entitlement. Let me take the history. The Fulani came here as a family, not as a nation. There was never any war between anybody. The conversion into violence in the old community was actually through the word of mouth. As Buhari was campaigning just now, that was how they were able to convince the Hausa to rise up against Saki Yunfa. Saki Yunfa was killed, and later on, Doberi was seized and renamed Sokoto. So, if you understand that, you understand, since that time, the British employed the Fulani to also look after the Hausa and report back to them after the killing of Sultan Atahiru by Captain Maloney, who was later killed in Kefi by Kaswa, who the British later caught in Cad. Now we are a democracy. The Fulani don't have numbers to maintain their level of entitlement across the north. That's why you can see they are being challenged in places they don't have number, like in Zamfara. I mean, like in Taraba, where the Urukum, the Chamba, the Chukun, the Kaka, and the Pansa have come together against it. Same thing you see in Benue, where the Ikiddeh, the Atatu, the Idoma, and the TV have come together. They only succeed when you're divided. But when you're together, they don't succeed. And I'm also happy that Yorubas have now formed a multitude because of what they have seen them trying to do. I repeat, they will not succeed in their quest to subjugate Nigeria. No, Nigerians love themselves. Everybody in Nigeria loves ourselves. It is this same small group of people, that big number, that try to use religion to undermine us. So the people in the south try to compete with them. Everybody loves into religion, and now we have more worship places than we have facts. And that has our growth. Now, in the case about unity, my sister, Nigerians love themselves. We love ourselves. I have been with Ata since we were children in school. I met Ata for government country. Until today, we still love ourselves. I have come to see that we share similarity. When I go to his state, people serve me okashi, and I'm happy about it. When I go to places like Eton, I go to Ata's place and I see elderly people who attended at the society, attending a concord. And I say, but these are the things in my village. And I tell myself, that means we have similarity. We are all members of the core family. We are all Negroids, as they say, black people. Our problem in Nigeria, I repeat, is because of our return to democracy, the foreign is reaction to the consequences of democracy, which means they don't have the number to maintain all conditions of entitlement. That's why you see them undermined everywhere. Nobody in Nigeria is responsible for the killings, but mercenaries that are brought from outside. Why would the president keep quiet? And mercenaries will come from outside looking for land to resettle Mali refugees. Yes, I agree with you going to Mali to try to bring peace. But don't commit ethnic cleansing. Whether it is Hausas or killing in Ankara, in El Sadao, in Maru, in Dangobe, I condemn it emphatically. Whether you're killing other people, Kajuru people, Kata people in Kaduna, I condemn it wholeheartedly. I am happy that Yorubas have seen that their partners cannot be trusted. You can also see that in the Igbo heartland, that's also the reason Buhari created Nnamdi Kanu. Buhari's embrace of nepotism is the reason Nnamdi Kanu came. I'm evil. I don't want that. Why? I'm greedy. Why should I want a shot of brandy when I can seize the whole bottle? Nigeria is more advantage than to throw the food. Buhari is mishandling Nigeria's diversity. And that's why you're seeing this people saying, I don't want it. When you cheat a woman in a marriage, what she will tell you is, no, I want to get out of the marriage. There is a reason why. But if you don't get to resolve it, look at it. I come from an oil producing state. Then my state is not captured in the infrastructure plan. And Buhari is borrowing more than $20 billion to just spend in his place. Now, I believe Buhari is stealing. And look at that woman, Hush Mommy, that I called her. The woman at the Ministerial Affairs, she spent, according to her, 850 billion naira. No single person from my village got 10 naira. And I can tell you the same thing. Papa can't tell anybody from his community who got 10 naira from that woman. So you have to do it. People are competing to outdo each other in terms of corruption. That is not there. Yeah, and the other day, they told me that he's there in picture. We did not photograph. Anybody can manufacture Photoshop. I want to see Buhari in action. Buhari has abandoned the country. Why? He suffers from acute dementia. Instead of being honest that I cannot continue and resign, no, he stays there like a vegetable, and people are plundering our Commonwealth in his name.
Okay.
No government has been as corrupt as this particular government. For me, the most part of corruption is the employment of nepotism as policy. You saw how Hitler used it, and we all know how Hitler remembers Hitler. So Buhari is now using that corruption called nepotism as his own strategy to guide Nigeria. Is the reason the country is in its current implosion.
Okay.
And I know he will not succeed.
All
and
right.
all Nigerians, this is the time for us to come together to build. Nobody gains something just free if you don't work at it. This is the first generation that are now intelligently informed about the problem before us. So let us now use what we learned and then build it. In the north, every other person is against the Fulani. Why? They are killing in every community looking for land. Why would you want to grab people's land by force? Africans are emotionally attached to their land. Why do you want to do that? Why are you committing ethnic cleansing?
Yeah.
Why is the president criminally complicit in ethnic cleansings going across the country? They have not told the army, the police, our police people are very, very intelligent. They know how to gather intelligence and they know how to act upon those intelligence.
Okay.
Buhari will not let them. Buhari will let them act. That's why we have the trust. I have friends in government and everywhere. But to serve country means to speak the truth.
Okay.
I will not.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Now he's about to leave. And then his brother, Mamandara, is saying, no, there will be no zoning. We will keep it forever. How can you not want to include other people?
Okay.
We bring you now want to use both players.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you a question.
The reasons for the crisis in Nigeria.
All right, thank you. So we have covered a lot of issues right there, but we're going to break it down further. Let me ask you a question. In recent times, a speech you made was used by what do you call them? Nnamdi Kanu's people. It was used by Nnamdi Kanu's people to propagate the ideas on why they need to form Biafra. Are you a proponent of Biafra? Because I would not be able to unify that with your talk of unity. If you're promoting Biafra, which is looking for secession, how do you now propose that Nigeria unify when they are using your speech to propagate the ideas of Biafra? Please talk to us about that.
I believe that in nature, power never concedes without a demand. That's why I believe that in a democracy, people have all rights to agitate for whatever they want. Me, I'm Igbo. The reasons why I do not agree for Biafra, very simple. It's my greed. I think that we've already acquired the logistics necessary to compete and win in a market-driven system. Democracy has two levels of competition. One, the electoral contest. Two, the market contest. So I do not see any reason why I will want to withdraw myself from a space where I can gain. Why should I be afraid in a football field where I'm wearing boots and others don't have boots? For what? So I do not stop the young people from reacting to Buhari's employment of nepotism. No, I do not agree for Biafra. Igbo's majority do not want Biafra, but because Buhari
That's
is
good.
using nepotism. The young ones are reacting in that form. That's one. Two, in Yoruba land, there is also an anger from the young ones against the way their fathers have engaged in Nigeria, and that's why they form OPC. Here in the north, the Sunnis are also not happy the way the things are going, and they introduced Boko Haram. So I see nothing wrong with my own town having in it a motor park where you also have crazy drivers. Crazy drivers, my dear sister, exist in every motor park. But the way to deal with these drivers is to listen to them and then hear them out and try to resolve that which makes them go crazy. So if you listen to the young people and they tell you that we have an unjust society, then why don't we sit down and agree to restructure? Because since from the time when the army got into Nigerian politics, the army balkanized in a very fraudulent form the Nigerian enterprise. So I support the restructuring of the political superstructure of Nigeria.
All right.
I support that we have a devolving of powers to the federating unit. In this case, the geopolitical zones, because a lot of the states don't have the economic viability to actually exist on their own. So allow people to do things on their own. Let the exclusive list to be manned by the president, by the federal government, be as few as 6 items, like the defense, foreign affairs, and probably federal aviation, federal taxation, and what else will I put there? And yeah, a customs union.
Okay.
Customs union, foreign affairs, central banking, central taxation, and as we will have it, those things, before those things to those federating union, and in this case, the political zones.
Okay.
This is what I believe will allow competition to actually bring out the best in the Nigerian spirit.
Thank you.
Let me state it to you again.
Thank
Most Igbos that I have talked to are really not that hamstrung and Biafra. No. But if Buhari will borrow money, $27 billion, and my state is an oil producing state, like Ata State is, and then he will spend all that money in northern Nigeria and building railway going to Maradi, his original home place. I say no. Then you cannot stop the young people from going crazy. You can't stop those in saying they want their own country.
Okay.
You can't stop those in Biafra saying they want their own way.
All right.
But
All right.
I told a lot of people, I said, look, the things are getting better. They said, how? I said, because suddenly Buhari's incompetence has now brought a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
And because historically, humanity only learns through experience. Nigerians have enough experience to understand who the real enemies are.
Okay.
Why
All
are
right.
you mercenaries from outside Nigeria to come here and commit ethnic cleansing?
Okay.
And you do not allow security services to catch them and apprehend them.
All right.
And that's why you have kept the service chiefs to last forever.
Okay.
And then there is mayhem, they are not doing it, you say let it be. That means he supports actively what is going on.
And that's why you are advocating that he resigns.
Other people in the democracy who out of such issue get very angry.
Okay.
But then, I still believe Nigeria, that I coexist with you and Ata and others from other parts of Nigeria, are better in. Nigeria's only problem is the mindset of the Fulani redemptive movement, nothing else. They
All right.
think
Thank you, sir.
that the way
Thank
we
you.
are colonials over the Hausas and that advantage should maintain. No, they should be able to see everybody as part and parcel of a general house where the aspirations of everyone should be carried along. That's what I believe. And that's what I think most people want. If you ask people, man, he'll tell you, I want restructuring. Restructure Nigeria so that everybody can have an honest sense of belonging. But the way Buhari actively excludes people, I will even pray that those who cause mayhem will get very, very successful. Why? Power
Sir,
never sits.
Sir, I
You
was
must
going to ask you about the China loan. We're running out of time. I was going to ask you about China loan, what you suggest we should do about corruption. A few of our viewers have suggested capital punishment. Some say Sharia law. Some say death penalty and all that. But I tell you, you're a lawyer. What do you suggest is the one way we could cage corruption? And after this discussion of corruption, we will touch a little bit on China loans. And unfortunately, we have run out of time because everybody's waiting to talk to Dr. Stella. But then let's go ahead and talk about corruption and the loans that Nigeria keeps borrowing from outside the nation. Please go ahead, Ata. Thank you very much, Dr. Katch. Wow. Thank you.
Right.
Go ahead, Ata.
First of all, the thing about the three of us, we all went to federal government colleges.
Yes.
Katch and I were in federal government college Enugu. You were in federal government college Calabar, Askia, and so we are products. We were like the experimental children. The vision for those colleges was for you and I and Dr. Kachi to come out and propose and to promote and to pursue the one Nigeria. Pro Unitate was together we stand, or we are one. And so we must pursue that dream of one Nigeria. All right? Now, every tribe in Nigeria came from somewhere.
Yeah.
The Ibibios, the Bantus. And so while I agree with my brother, okay, Dr. Katch, about the Fulanis to an extent, but I would just let him know that every tribe in Nigeria came from somewhere. Okay, we, the Ibibios, the Bantus, the oldest Bantu race in Africa, we came from South Central Africa to Arochukwu, Dr. Katch, and your people enslaved us. Your people, Dr. Katch, enslaved the Ibibio people for many years. Now, what I'm saying is, if we want to sit down and talk about who's done what to who through history, honestly, we're not going to come together as a nation. And that's why I said, and that's why when people ask me the issues and problems about corruption, I say, you know what? Fine. We can talk about corruption. Talking about corruption is going to a doctor and telling the doctor, please give me Panadol for my headache, when there's actually malaria in my body. And the doctor will say, I'm sorry, it is not your headache. You need to deal with the malaria. And that is what I'm talking about. We must, as a people, we have to come together as a nation, as patriots, as lovers of this fatherland, and agree on our destiny, agree on our direction. Buhari is doing a good job. Osibanjo is doing a good job. All the leaders we've had have all done good jobs. But we still have this fundamental question. And that fundamental question is, who, what are we? And that is what concerns me the most. Now, about the Chinese loans.
Yes.
To the Chinese loans. Now, I had posted something about these Chinese loans on my wall. Okay? Now, the Chinese, and this is what people don't understand. The Chinese have a vision they call the One Belt, One Road Initiative. That vision was encapsulated and put together by the present president of China. And as I'm speaking to you right now, there are over, I think, 86 countries in the world that are part of this Chinese vision called the One Belt, One Road Initiative. There are 46 African countries who are part of that Chinese vision. It's a global vision of investment and to industrialize the world. Nigeria is one of those countries. Now listen, China is doing a good job. I'm not against China.
At new colonization.
Yes. I mean, when you come to Akwa Ibom State, when Godsluck Pabi was governor, I mean, you can see what the Chinese did with roads. It was fantastic. wonderful roads, okay? But this is the challenge with China. When China are putting together an agreement and giving you a loan, okay? There's a clause in their agreement that when you default, they will come after the assets. Now, this is very unusual because in international borrowing, you don't go after assets. What you do, you restructure the loan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And not only do you restructure the loan, you come to an agreement. Let me tell you what's happening right now. In Zambia, as we're speaking right now, China is in control of the Zambian National Broadcasting Station because Zambia defaulted in her loan.
Is that what we want for Nigeria?
Well, this is what we are saying. China is in charge of the Zambian port. They have taken full control of the Zambian port. China is in charge and taken over a hydropower station in Zambia. In Uganda right now, see, when I was a child, we grew up in Uganda. In Uganda right now, China has taken over the international airport, the Entebbe airport. In Uganda, China is in charge of Entebbe airport right now. China is taking over assets all over Africa. Once you default, they take over your assets. Now,
But that's not right. We should not stand by and let that happen, especially when they put a clause of sovereignty. No nation should have to mortgage its sovereignty just because they go after a loan. Why are we even going for a loan in the first place? What about all the monies that were recovered from the looted fund? What about all that money? What is going on?
now,
Yes.
now, this is it. You have entered an agreement. You've read the terms and conditions of that agreement.
We didn't. Nobody discussed it with Nigerians. We don't know about it. We're just hearing that our sovereignty has been mortgaged. They should do a better job of informing the people and getting an input from Nigerians on how they want their commonwealth to be shared or to be, put in a loan.
Regina, that is what the National Assembly is now doing. The National Assembly have now stepped in and they've opened the conversation. That's why we're talking now. And they're asking Nigerians, are you, because these loans are for 3 railways, I can't remember one, for Lagos, Kano, and for Port Harcourt Meduguri Rail. And what the National Assembly is asking Nigerians is this: if we default on these loans, because I can tell you something, Nigeria has never, ever, I cannot remember any time Nigeria has borrowed money and has kept to the terms. We always have our loans restructured. Okay? Now, the NAS is asking Nigerians, if we default on these loans, do you agree that China will take over those railway stations? And I tell you something, when they take over the assets, they take over the land on which the assets are built upon. They take over everything.
So I think the terms of the loan have to be reviewed. It's not right.
Well,
Dr. Katch, yes. Do you want Dr. Katch to say something about that? Dr. Katch, can you say something about that? You heard Ata's submission. Can you say something about that before we close out on the program? We're talking about the terms of the China loans to Nigerians. And there's a clause about sovereignty that nobody seems to know about. But Ata has informed us that the National Assembly now is opening this discussion up to Nigerians and asking them for their inputs. Do we agree that China, if we default on the loan, will take over the projects they built? And Ata also makes us know that when they take over that project, they also own the land. So where does this leave us? Is that not grabbing our assets and our land also? We have not finished the Fulani issue. We have not finished the issue of people coming in from Mali. Here we go again with another set of people trying to, softly and gently grab our assets and grab our lives. I think that the issue of this loan should be revisited and the clause of sovereignty removed. What do you say, Dr. Katch? Ata, thank you for informing us on that.
Well, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. The issue of the China loan is an issue of corruption. We get loans from World Bank and IMF at similar rates, and they do not put a clause of they want to seize sovereignty. We have seen places where the sovereignty was implemented, this particular loan default in East Africa. It got so bad, China took the broadcasting house, China took the airport.
Yes.
Strategic speaking.
Yeah.
When China came to that country, the radio and the broadcasting commission were existing. They didn't build it. When they flew into the country, the airport was there. They didn't build. This is just to tell you, when you default in Nigeria's game, Nigeria has a similar project built by the Chinese in Ghana, and that cost only 2 billion. When we came to do the same thing between Abuja, Kanu, and Ibadan, the minister now told us that the cost is more than double what Ghana paid for the same length of standard gateway. And China is easy for politicians because the Chinese normally know how to keep money for them. Our suspicion is that the minister has done this simply because he wants to run for president, and he claims he funded and bankrolled Buhari's election 2016. So he does this, he gets enough money for himself. But you're not doing it as the fear of standing away Nigeria's sovereignty. You did not tell Nigeria. Yesterday, the minister said that he was going to go to TV and counter what I said. But when he got to TV, when they were asking him questions, he was evading them, saying he doesn't have information. The civil servants in the ministry know that. If you ask him about his loan payback, he said he doesn't know. No, this is just his way to actually say that China is justified. He has already said it, that there's nothing wrong with turning away sovereignty. Why does he say it? Because of the advantage, the monetary advantage driven by corruption that he sees to gain from that transaction. Why will you go into a transaction that signs away your country's sovereignty? Don't forget, when Chinese came first, the loans they gave us didn't include this sovereignty. It's as they now thought that we have now become hooked on their money, they started now twanging the agreements to insert their original intentions of seizing country. Let me give you an instance. You are now telling me you are getting China loan to build a rail line from Ibadan to Kanu. The Chinese are already targeting, according to them, the one that they gave us, our liquefied natural gas plant. Why? If they give you price and you now cause them to inflate the cost of the Kanu Abuja rail line, when they come in, they don't care your inflation. They will simply tell you, for the money they gave you, this is what's in your country that they think is commensurate to the money that they gave you. And this is where this thing is dangerous. And they will now, for projects you say you built in Kanu, to Barracks, they will not be targeting hydrocarbon currencies in all this Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria did not gain from the title of that project. That tells you that something is wrong. That's why I say that Buhari's employment of nepotism is the most violent form of corruption. Nigeria has never had a leader as corrupt as Buhari's gone. And that corruption now he has used to divide us. Because when a Nigerian sees where things are gotten from his area, me and Ata have to come from oil politics. But then we don't see a lot of advantage from oil. Instead, things under Buhari, the Senate and the House of Rep have now mastered their game over the NDDC in such a way that they have spent over 2 to 3 trillion. And that was why the current minister said, no, this will not continue. We must stop it. And what did you have? So much blow up. So we started looking at other departments of government, and I found out that the Northeast Development Commission is even worse. We're talking about 40 billion in NDC. Northeast Development Commission that was formed yesterday spent over.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Looks like we have connectivity issues again with Dr. Katch. We have run out of time, and it looks like we have to call you back. We have to call you gentlemen back to continue with this discussion because we have to find a way forward. From our discussion,
he is like a referee in a football match with no whistle. So nobody will then control what's going on the field. And that's why nobody's controlling what's going on in Nigeria. Nigerians are being massacred in Katsina, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in Kaduna. No president is there to actually help. And that's why we're now beginning to see that Goodluck Jonathan was actually a God-sent angel.
I have to laugh at that, sir. I have to laugh at that. I have to laugh at that. Okay.
But this man doesn't see it that way.
Okay. Thank you very much for your submission, sir. We have to close out the program. It looks like we have, there's a consensus or a thread running through the fact that there is need to get together and restructure. There's a need to consider restructuring so that we can find a way within that to come together as a nation. There is a need to wake up our patriotism, despite everything we have been through, despite coming from different, our former national anthem used to say, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. It is time to reach across and embrace each other so that we can grow together. It is time also to consider the immediate requirements of disenfranchised people in Nigeria, the people who are being massacred, the people who are being alienated and kept out of appointments. Our appointments have to reflect more of federal character. There is a need to revisit the complaints that Nigerians are, talking about right now so that we can come together as a group to grow. Okay, there's need for security. There's a need to stem corruption. There's a need to reconsider that sovereignty clause in the loan to China or the loan from China. We definitely need another hour to talk about this. And I hope that when I come back to you, you are going to consider maybe next Saturday talking to us about this. Okay,
Regina.
Yes.
Please let me just say something.
Yes.
Before you close out, I would like to recite the national pledge for Nigerians that are watching.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay. Maybe we'll close on that note.
Okay. So when you want to recite the national pledge, you stand at attention. We can't do that because we're seated. Your hand on your chest, and you say this.
May I take a knee?
To Nigeria, my country.
Yes.
Can we all say that together? Even Dr. Kachi? I
am kneeling. I am kneeling. Yes.
To be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her unity and uphold her honor and her glory. So help me, God.
Amen. Hopefully, a president understands the pledge and lives up to the tenets of the pledge, because that's a very beautiful pledge to bind us all together as a nation. Thank you very much, Ata, for those closing words. Dr. Kachi, can you say goodbye to our audience with a few closing words?
Thank you very much. Goodbye to you all. Nigeria will get well. Don't worry, Buhari's presence is tenured. He is on his.
All right. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to you all for spending your afternoon with us. And I'll come back to you again with a where we will continue to deliberate on our problems, the problems that seem to impede our development as a nation. I would request that you keep sending your questions in so that we can table them and discuss them as brothers. Thank you so very much. Stay with us because the next segment of our program, Saturday online program, will feature the COVID doctor, Dr. Stella Emmanuel. She's going to talk to us about why she's standing her ground. She's going to talk to us about hydroxychloroquine. We also have a doctor who is a survivor of the COVID infection, and he will share his story on what he took, okay, and why he believes, or what his stand is when it comes to using the queens in treating the COVID infection. Okay, so I'm going to switch off now, and I'll see you in 5 minutes with Dr. Nelson Aluya and Dr. Stella Emmanuel. Thank you for spending your afternoon with me. For now, I'd like to say good night, God bless, and see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.